feel guilty for outgrowing a friendship, a hobby, or even a version of yourself? Maybe you used to love running. Maybe you swore by certain self-care routines, reading, doing nighttime skincare, but now they just don't feel the same. Or maybe you're realizing that advice from people you once admired doesn't resonate anymore. And let's be real, change is uncomfortable. We resist it, we fight it, and sometimes we even feel bad about it. Here's the thing, outgrowing things isn't bad. In fact, it's a sign that you're evolving. Hi, I'm Jade, licensed therapist and your #1 supporter. Today we're talking about why this happens, why it's so uncomfortable, and how to navigate it while setting healthy boundaries for yourself. As humans, we crave familiarity. It makes us feel safe. So that's why when we start evolving, we tend to resist it, even if it's ultimately good for us. This can show up in a few different ways. Outgrowing your hobbies, like that one self-care practice you used to love and now don't think about. Outgrowing relationships, like friends, family, or even mentors. Outgrowing versions of yourself. The old you that handled stress differently, tolerated different things, had different priorities. The problem? We see outgrowing things as a loss rather than a transformation. Sound familiar? When we change, our relationships have to change too. Otherwise, we risk staying in dynamics that no longer fit us. Boundaries don't have to mean cutting people off. It can mean recognizing what you need and communicating that. Some examples of boundaries when outgrowing relationships. Instead of taking every piece of advice from a family member, acknowledge it, but don't feel pressured to follow it. If a friend feels draining, reduce how often you're hanging out, how often you're talking, instead of forcing yourself to keep up that same level of closeness just because you've been friends for so long. Boundaries can also apply to you. Letting go of your guilt when that self-care practice or that hobby or that passion no longer serves you or no longer fits into your life. Now, a main reason that self-care routines stop working is because we change, but we try to force those old routines, those old coping mechanisms to still fit. It's okay to let go of an activity that once helped you and find something new. The key to navigating burnout is to do the opposite of what burnout makes you feel like doing. Sound confusing? Instead of shutting down completely, engage in small moments of mindfulness. One simple practice of this, pay attention to the little things. The flavor of creamer you want in your coffee, the texture or color of your clothing that you pick out, the sound of the wind, the sounds of the birds outside. I had a professor in grad school who asked us, have any of you ever looked at the color of the flowers outside of this building? You come in here every single day and have you ever noticed the colors of the flowers? And no one did. We get so busy and we get so caught up in these routines that we go through our day-to-day, we're doing things that we need to do, we're on that grind, we're getting somewhere, we're trying to find success, right? We forget to slow down and look at these things and notice. This is mindfulness in action. It pulls you back into the present instead of drowning in the exhaustion. Outgrowing things is not a failure. It's proof that you're evolving. And part of evolving is learning how to set boundaries with yourself and others so you can grow in a way that actually feels good. If you want to dive deeper into this work, I'm accepting new clients in the state of Florida, and I offer free consultations in my practice. Let's get on a phone call and see if we're a good fit.